Welcome to Tour Tempo. I'm John Novosel Jr. This app is based on the best-selling book written by my father, John Novosel Sr., and Sports Illustrated writer John Garrity. Tour Tempo broke the paradigm of tempo in the golf swing. We redefined what tempo is. It's not low and slow, it's not swing easy, it's actually fast. And there's a certain ratio of backswing to downswing. So what is Tour Tempo? Simply put, for the short game, it's a 2-to-1 ratio of backswing to downswing. And for the long game, it's a 3-to-1 ratio of backswing to downswing. And when you look at the PGA Tour players, they don't swing slow, they actually swing fast. The average on tour is about 1 second from takeaway back to impact. So that's that elapsed time. And then finally, they're consistent. On all full swings or on all short game shots, they're gonna have that consistency that helps them play better golf. So strap yourselves in, let's check out the Tour Tempo Total Game app. Let's talk numbers. What do the numbers in the Tour Tempo app mean? For example, what is 21/7? So 21 and 7 refer to frames of video per second. There's typically 30 frames per second in standard video. So if you go back in 21 frames, that's about 2/3 of a second. If you come down in 7 frames, that's about, 1/4 of a second or so. So what you've got is 21 plus 7 equals 28. That's gonna be a little bit less than 1 second from takeaway back to impact. Obviously 18/6 is going to be super fast because that time frame is shorter, and then you go to 30/10, that would be 1 second back and then 1/3 of a second coming down. So that's what the numbers mean. Obviously 3-to-1 ratio for the full swing, 2-to-1 ratio for the short game. Now, how do we figure out what tempo is right for you? Let's check that out in the next video. Okay, let's get started. We're going to start with the 2-to-1 tones, so that's going to be your short game. You're going to use tones, and I'm going to start with 18/9, so that's right in the middle. There's 3 tones here. Dun, dun. Start, top, impact. Start, top, impact. Let's see if we can brush the grass to those tones. Okay, so here we go. Bump, 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 bump. Once you can do 3 in a row where you're brushing that grass nicely, let's hit a ball, same tempo, no extra energy. We're just trying to sync our swing to these tones. Bump, bump, bump. Solid, crisp little shot, getting a feel for the tones. Bump, bump, bump. Even better. Don't worry about the ball at first, just synchronize your swing to those tones. If 18/9 is way too fast, try 20/10. If 18/9 is way too slow, try 16/8 or even 14/7. There's 5 different flavors. Find the one that's right for you, and let's dial that in on all these different short game type of swings. What's really cool is if I set 2 balls out here, this first one I'm going to make this little wide drill swing. So that ball went 20, 30 yards. I don't have to change the tempo at all to make a longer swing. Exact same tempo. So nothing changes there. So that's a great way for your mind to wrap itself around tempo and the timing involved in the golf swing in the short game. You can also choose voice cues for the short game. So you hit short game voice to hit your 18/9.
Tour tempo. Tour tempo. Tour tempo. Tour tempo.
So that's another way you can do it, just dialing in to a different sound.
Tour tempo. Tour tempo.
What I really love about this is that these tones or the voice cues give your brain a framework of where your club should be in space and time. I think a lot of golfers don't have any idea of the rhythm of the shot or the timing of the shot. They take it back, all of a sudden they kind of look at the ball and they think, I gotta hit it. And they have this crazy follow through. Whereas when we're doing the tones, tour tempo, tour tempo. So I don't have any rush there. I look like a tour player because I'm dialing in this rhythm. People forget tempo is half of this equation. Yes, mechanics are important, but if you don't have the rhythm to go with it, you're gonna struggle for that consistency and for that good contact. So for the short game, you've got the tones, you've got the 5 different flavors, you've also got the voice cues. Give those a try, dial in that short game. You're gonna love that when you're out there practicing, and you're gonna love it out there on the golf course. Here are some bonus tips of working with the short game tones. The first one is pre-shot routine. So what I want you to do is use the tones to set up to the ball. So bump, 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 bump. So I'm putting my club in on that first tone, my lead foot on the second, trail foot, waggling, and sort of feeling the bump, bump, bump. So now I'm getting in a rhythm to what the swing is going to be. So that's your first thing to do. The next thing is just start hitting some balls. There's no consequences out here in the driving range. Bump, bump, bump. Just start hitting some shots and get a feel for what that feels like with the tones. Boom, boom, boom. And just start hitting shots. Now, the more you hit, the more you're going to get used to it. It's going to become natural. And then the third little piece of this whole thing, especially with the short game, is not giving it a lot of energy. So if you give it a lot of energy and do that, that was off your tempo. That was almost like a 3 or 4 to 1 ratio. This is just 2 to 1. It's more like a pendulum. There's no burst of energy here. So that's sort of your feel. So let's go ahead and dance in, waggle to the tones, no burst of energy. Those are some nice tips to use the short game tones. I'm going to take you through all of the short game tempos one by one, and you can see what they look like and get an idea of how fast they are. So this is going to be 22-11. That was 22-11. Very slow and smooth. Here's 20-10. That was pretty nice. Let's go 18-9. This is a great thing to do, by the way, to just see which one of these feels best, gives you the best results. So I'm up to 18-9. That felt a little quicker. Let's try that again. So this is 18-9. Okay, that felt nice. Let's try 16-8. It's feeling a little quicker now. Bump, bump, bump. It's more of a 1-2, very quick. And now this is 14-7, which is the fastest tempo. It's going to feel super fast. Take a practice swing. Very quick, right? So you got to get ready to go. And that was actually pretty solid. The goal of this is feel the different tempos, see which one feels best for you, which one's most consistent for you, which one is producing the shot you want. As a general rule, you're going to use the same tempo for all your short game shots. However, if you're trying to hit a super soft flop shot, you might go more to 20-10 or 22-11. It's going to look something like this. So it's a little lazy. This looks a lot different, right? So that popped up nice, super soft. Now let's say you're sort of hitting a low punch, bump and run. You might want to go more with 16-8. Bump, bump, bump. Get a little shaft lean, you're kind of keeping it low. And so find your baseline tempo, experiment with the other tempos when you really need to do something special, but as a general rule, stick with your baseline. For your warm-up on the driving range, I love to start with the 2-to-1 tones, using your 18-9, whatever those are. Hit some just little half shots, then grab your 9-iron and hit more of a 3/4 shot, but keep using the 2-to-1. What that's going to do is give you more speed off the ball and a little more time in transition. Most people on the golf course get slow, then quick. The 2-to-1 is the opposite of that. So let's bake that in just a little bit. And I'm going to hit sort of a 3/4 9-iron. Bump, 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 bump. Beautiful shot, beautiful rhythm. I'm getting off the ball, but I'm not rushing down. Hit 5 or 6 of those. That'll really get a good feel for your swing before we go to the 3-to-1 tones and more speed and power. Full swing, 3-to-1 tones. Let's get into it. You've got 3 beats. Bump, 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 bump. Start, top, impact. It's going to be faster than what you're used to. So I usually start people at 24/8, see how that feels. For me, my rhythm is actually 21/7, which is going to be that same rhythm as a Rory McIlroy, Ludwig Oberg, a lot of these great players out on tour. And obviously, we talked about this before, 21 plus 7 is 28. So it's just under 1 second from takeaway to impact. But when you dial this in, you're going to see great things happen. And good news for those of you that are 40/10 or 36/12, if you can get to 24/8 or 21/7, you will instantly gain 20, 30 yards right here, right now. Just because of the physics of it, you're taking too long. Okay, so let's see what this looks like when I try a full swing here, 21/7. Bump, 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 bump. That's how I step into this to those tones, get me in that rhythm. Yours may be a little bit different. You may be here and go bump, bump, bump. Might be, you know, bump, bump, bump. I don't care how you do it, but try to find a rhythm, because a lot of you guys out there just kind of willy-nilly step into it, and then you're frozen, and then I got to start and try to swing. We got to keep a rhythm going in this thing, because the toughest thing you're going to do is start on that first tone when you first do this. Getting a feel for that tempo, right? Bump, bump, bump. Now hit a few. Go ahead and hit some. I've got a 9-iron out. I'm not really worried about where this ball goes. I just want to feel whether or not I'm syncing up on these tones. And it helps if you can sync dun, dun, these tones as you're standing up to it. See how I'm waggling? Then I'm sort of almost going to have a trigger. My trigger is right before that first tone. That lets me start on that first tone. So here we go. That was even better. When you go to the 3-to-1 after the 2-to-1, you feel extra power. Quicker time frames, more power. There's a drum beat in there, gets you a little more upbeat. So it's going to help you hit that ball farther for these fuller swings. I'm going to show you the difference with driver on the full swing tempos. So I'm going to start with 30/10. It feels really slow to me. That was not easy. That was so slow. I want you in your head out there when you're watching, notice how as I increase the tempo, I increase the force as I get more speed. 27/9. Like already that's a better improvement. Ball went way further. That felt so easy. 24/8. That one felt pretty good. I like that. 21/7. Notice the difference in the intensity of my swing on this one. I even move faster in the waggle. Ooh, I was just hammered. So that's really my rhythm. Now I'm going to get out of my comfort zone with this next one. 18/6. What you'll notice when I do 18/6, I've really got to waggle faster to prep my body for this faster movement. That was actually not bad. I had to move a lot faster. There was more ground force, more grip force, more speed. If you want to have some fun with the tones, try those 5 different flavors. See which one works for you. What are the benefits of this 3-to-1? Well, you're getting the correct ratio. You're getting a faster time frame. You're getting consistent. But this might be the most important thing of all. You're not thinking. When students do the tour tempo tones, the number one thing they tell me, I don't have time to think all my swing thoughts. And that's when I am just like, yes, thank God. You can't play golf thinking 20 swing thoughts. So this is a huge benefit of tour tempo. We're going to clear all that clutter out, right? So if you need to work on something in your swing mechanically, I want you to do that back here. So come back behind the ball. feel what you're feeling, whatever that might be, bake that in. Now, when you step up to hit, you've got that in your system. Just do tour tempo, bump, bum, bum, and make your swing and hit it. That is the only way you're going to take this game from the range to the course. And that's why we get such great results, because we get golfers to quit thinking. They're thinking more of the wholeness of the swing, the completeness of the swing, and not making it a bunch of parts. So that's a big advantage of using tour tempo. You're focused, you're dialed in, and you're not thinking. A brand new feature of the Tour Tempo Total Game app is the frame counter. We've actually got the frame counter in the app so you can get feedback on your swing, on your tempo. So here's how it works. You can have your buddy film you, or in this case, I've got my tripod set up and I'm gonna go to the capture video section in the frame counter portion of the app. So the capture's going, now I'm gonna get up and hit. Beautiful shot. Let's see what my tempo was. So what I'm doing is I'm bringing my swing up to where I'm about to start the swing. For me, it's usually pretty easy because I have that trigger. Right when my club head moves away, that's going to be, I'm going to, in the upper left-hand corner, press start, then hit the play button. So I'm back in 21 frames, hit the top button. So I'm right around that 21.7, which is right where I want to be. So it's a great way to get feedback on your swing, the tempo that you're using when you're using the tones, also your mechanics as well. So then at impact, you press impact, and now you know your start, top, and impact. In this case, I've got right around 21.7, which is right where I want to be. The other cool feature of this app is that if I take the phone and turn it horizontally, it's going to give me the option to compare this swing to other swings in my library, and it syncs them for tempo. So it's a really cool way to see how your swing might compare to a Rory McIlroy or any of these guys on tour. You can film their swing off the TV or in person, obviously, get it, import it into the frame counter portion of the app, look at their tempo, and you can compare yourself on those tempos. Typically, what I find is the average golfer is never gonna have Ludwig Oberg's high hands or Rory's hips. But you know what you can have? You can have their tempo. It's called Tour Tempo. Use the frame counter piece of this app for that feedback to understand and better improve your tempo. Another option you have in the analysis section of the frame counter portion of the app is import video. So go to import video. You're going to bring up the swing you want, choose it. In this case, I'm bringing up a driver swing, and I'm going to see how this swing compares to my 9-iron. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm looking for the start, which again for me is easy because I have such a big trigger. There I am starting it. Right on the top at 21. So I'm right almost exactly 21.7. Now, when I take that and I turn this thing sideways, it's going to allow me to compare my swing to other swings. You've got a comparison of the two swings. I've now got my 9-iron swing, and I can see how those match up. They're spot on. Think how much that's going to help me for consistency on the golf course when all these swings are the same tempo. Another really cool feature in the frame counter portion of the app is that you can draw lines. So at the top of the screen, you'll see I've got the eraser and the marker. So I can draw this, put a little line right there, put a line there, put a line there, and I can kind of see what I do during the swing based on those lines. You can erase those lines. So it's just one more way that you can analyze your swing and look at your swing. Try the frame counter. It's a great way to get feedback on your tempo. When should you use the 2-to-1 tones versus the 3-to-1 tones? In other words, where's that threshold? Because typically we're going to be 2-to-1 from about here down and 3-to-1 from about here up. So a 2-to-1 swing might look something like this, bump, bump, bump. And then 3-to-1 is going to be bump, 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 bump. So big difference there, right? But sometimes I like to go 2-to-1 on a full 9-iron or a more of a 3/4 9-iron if I'm hitting into the wind or trying to flight it. Just gives me a little more time on that downswing. So I'll be going bump, bump, bump. It's kind of a hold off finish. This will be more of a flighted shot. So I'm using those 2-to-1, bump, 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 bump. And so it's more of a 2-to-1 feel to flight that ball out on the golf course. The other time 2-to-1 is good is if you get rushed at the top of the swing. So if your buddy tells you you got quick at the top, that usually means you were slow at the beginning. So you went slow, then you got quick and tried to get back down the ball. If you use the 2-to-1, you're going to be off the ball quicker, and it'll give you more time to get back. So think of that 2-to-1, bump, bump, bump. There's more time at the top, bump, bump, bump. Gives you a little more time to come through. So try those when you're flighting shots and working on speed in the golf swing.